Hi there, I'm Allison Moon, and welcome to 90 Days of Self-Publishing, and today is day 14. Today I want to talk about something that I was working on last night, which is my budget. Because I'm a self-publisher, I have to absorb pretty much all the costs required to get my book to print. Now, this is one of the largest deterrents for self-publishers because they either don't want to spend the money or don't have the money required to get the book to print. Traditional publishers absorb pretty much all the costs necessary to print a book, including typesetting, graphic design, interior design, ISBNs, distribution, etc. These are all costs that are generally absorbed by a traditional publisher, which is why they tend to keep the bulk of the proceeds, about 90% of the proceeds, to offset those costs. Because I'm not working with a traditional publisher, it's my job to absorb those costs myself. So I created a budget to make sure I know how much money I'm spending. Now, this budget includes a bunch of different things, but right now it's looking like I'm going to spend about $2,000 from start to finish to get this book to print. The largest chunk of this money is towards personnel, towards my editor and graphic designer. I feel really good about those costs, even though they're large, because I believe in supporting a community of artists where we pay each other for the skill sets that they have. It's important to me that we value one another's work and we don't take it for granted. So I'm happy to pay them what they're worth. Of course, I don't have the money because I'm an hourly worker, starving artist myself. I don't have the luxury of just writing them one big check. So I was able to negotiate with both of them payment plans such that I can pay them what they're worth, but I don't have to do it all at once and, break the bank. So that's where I'm at right now. It's really what the bulk of those costs are. The other costs are things like ISBNs, which I told you about the other day, which cost $250 for 10, and the setup charges for the Lightning Source. Lightning Source has a number of things that are included in their setup fee, and the setup fee costs about $120, which includes a proof, which is about $30, and additional proofs are $40 each. So that's where I'm at right now, which all of this totals to just about $2,000. One of the really important costs that I haven't factored in yet because I don't have the information necessary is the per unit book cost, how much each book will cost to print. Because this is a POD thing instead of an offset printing thing, it's going to cost a little bit more per copy, but that's a risk I'm willing to take for a lot of reasons, and I'll explain to you in probably a future podcast the difference between offset and POD. But right now, it's looking like, based on page count, because I haven't set the page count specifically, I can't give you a specific number, but doing a little bit of rough guesstimation, it's looking like my per unit cost will be roughly $3.85 per book. So using that number, I can determine things like how much I want to set the retail price as and how much I want the wholesale price to be. Now again, these are going to be costs that I have to wait until I finish typesetting the book, so I actually can determine specifically what my expense will be in that, but that's where I'm at right now. So right now I'm working mostly with projected costs because a lot of these things I haven't paid for yet, but I'm also working with some actual costs because, again, I bought the ISBN last night. I spent $250. I know that's how much it costs. I can put that in my actual column instead of just my projected column. And keeping track of those two things is great because it allows me to know if I'm on target or not, if I'm spending more money than I was expecting to. It's important to be able to distinguish between projected costs and actual costs. And a couple of other numbers that I'm keeping a close eye on is actual unit sales. Again, I don't have any actual unit sales yet because I haven't actually printed the book yet, but this is something that I'll be checking on a regular basis and changing that number as we go, figuring out how much money I'm actually making. And that feeds into my break-even point. This is a great number to keep in mind for any sort of budget you ever create, especially when you're dealing with unit sales, whether it's ticket sales for an event or selling books or t-shirts or whatever. Break-even point is essentially what it means. It's how much money you need to make to have made your money back. How many units you need to sell to have made your money back so that you're back in the black, back at zero. That's a really good number to keep your eye on as you move forward, so that you can set some goals. And then the third number that I'm keeping track of is the goal. How many units I want to sell to feel like I've achieved success, to feel like I'm doing a good job, to feel like I want to do this again and I won't lose money. So this is something that's important to keep in mind. The goal number is really key because it allows you to make a lot of decisions, whether you go to events or not, whether you spend more money in one arena of advertising or not. These are all really great ways to keep track of these things and figure out if you can measure success on a very liminal way. So that's it for today. That's my budget. That's what it's looking like. It will undoubtedly change as I incur more costs that are kind of invisible to me right now. But hopefully it won't go too far over $2,000, but I'm sure it will, and I'm sure I will factor those things in as I go. So that's where I'm at. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with more tips and tricks for my 90 days of self-publishing journey. Thanks. Bye.